Good morning, everyone. We're so glad you could join us today for our Taiji Qigong 18 forums. This program is generously sponsored by the library trustees. Before we start our program, I would like to read a brief disclaimer. Participation in this online Tai Chi and Qigong program, while generally considered safe, could result in injury. Not all the material presented here are suitable for everyone. These exercises are not intended to substitute for appropriate medical care or advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any exercise program. Program creators, teachers, producers, and hosts assume no responsibility for injuries resulting from the use of this material. Without any further delay, please welcome our instructor, Benson Rathville.
So some of you may be joining for the first time, and some of you may have been with us since we started. So this is class 4 of our 10 class series on the Taiji Qigong 18 forms. So generally how we're running the class is we'll do some warm-ups, some preparatory movements that help us to become aware of different parts of our body and to loosen things up, lubricate a few muscles, tendons, ligaments, things like that. So we'll start that. If you're, I probably won't spend as much time on detail for that. You can look at some of the previous videos for that. So we'll start out putting a weight on one leg, and as I had said before, you can hold a chair or something. So we're circling the leg in the hip joint, kind of causes the knee to make a circle. Okay, then we can go the other way. And balance and 3 loose kicks. Do the other leg. And the other way. Balance, release the leg and kick, kick, kick. Moving up to the knees. Stand with the feet together. Gently press the knees back, bend the knees, circle. Press the knees back, and then circle in the other direction. And again, press the knees back, stretch out the backs of the legs, and roll up. Out the heels. And circling the hips. And the other way. March to the front, march to the back. And arch to the side, arch to the other side. So making a long curve right up through the top of the head, right from the foot right up through the top of the head. Next, we're doing our cross squat. So remember, keep the knees in place as you bend, as though you're about to sit down. So bend, straighten, go to neutral. Bend, straighten, go to neutral. Folding at the hip joint, standing up out of the ground, and go to neutral. Okay. So next, keeping your feet parallel. We want to feel an axis going down through the top of the head, right down through the bottom of the torso into the floor, and turning around that. Turning just enough so that we can feel the turn. Don't turn so much that you're distorting your form. Okay, stepping out a little wider, shifting the weight straight to the side, and shift back and forth. Upper body just goes along for the ride. Notice where the weight is in your foot, feel where the pressure is. Probably want to have it about in the middle of the foot, in the arch, not too much in the front, not too much in the heel. Okay, now we're going to add the axis turn that we did in the last exercise. So we're keeping the torso in one plane, turning that plane side to side. So if we had a signboard tacked onto the front of our body, we wouldn't be twisting that signboard. We're turning the whole torso as one piece. Nose, navel in one line. Okay. So now we're going to be doing our shoulder blade exercises. So try to get a sense of your shoulder blades. Those are the triangle bones in the upper back behind the shoulders. So we're going to be moving the shoulders and the arms by moving those shoulder blades. So as I had said before, if you have a smooth wall, you can lean against the wall, and it makes it easier maybe to feel those shoulder blades. So right now I'm raising the shoulders up and lowering them down, and only just a small amount, maybe about an inch, inch and a half. If you raise them up too much, it tends to bring into play more muscles in the neck. We're trying to kind of isolate the shoulders a little bit, shoulder blades, so we can feel them. Try to make the movement nice and buttery smooth and relaxed, comfortable. So now I'm going to be spreading the shoulder blades and bringing them together, spreading them apart. And when they spread apart, they come around the upper ribs a little bit. So they come around a little bit to the front. So as I do that, it'll bring the arms around to the front. Just try and let the arms come along for the ride. Try to let this be purely moving those muscles around the shoulder blades to get the movement. Again, this should be a nice, comfortable, smooth feeling. You don't need to make a big movement here, just enough to feel the shoulder blades moving apart and then coming back together. So now, putting your mind in your elbow, you're going to be pushing your arm and your hand out from your body. So feel as though the arm is coming out of the body. So notice how that causes my whole shoulder and the shoulder blade back here to come forward. So you really want to relax everything as much as possible. So with both hands. You don't need to bend the elbows too much to make this. You might lose the shoulder blades in all that movement. So you can kind of have the arm sort of extended, a little bend in the elbow, and then moving from the shoulders and the shoulder blade, let the arms be drawn forward and drawn back. So you're kind of pulling all of those muscles and tissues around the shoulder. And when you pull them and release them gently like this, it opens the circulation, it gets the muscle to relax. If you have a lot of tension in your shoulders, it may take some time working with this to be able to get that. So now we'll go to the sides. And again, putting your mind in the elbow. You want to have the elbow kind of pushing the arm out. Not so much this, but the elbow pulling the arm out from the body. So that'll help you to feel the scapula moving to the side and then moving back in towards the spine. It might be a very small movement, maybe only 3/4 of an inch. Be careful that you're not getting tense as you're trying to find this small movement in your body. Try to relax. Okay. Now circling. So bringing the shoulders up behind, across the top, and down the front. Don't make the movement nearly as big as you could make it. Make it a small, comfortable movement so you can keep everything relaxed. Okay, and then going up the front, across the top, down the back. If it's easier, you can do this seated in a chair, as long as your hands can hang down freely. Okay. So now with the arms sort of extended, sort of like we were doing with the leg, you're going to circle the arm out of the shoulder joint. And the result is that the elbows are kind of making a circle. And the other way. Shake the arms, keep them loose. Let the fingers be loose, almost like you're shaking water off your hands in slow motion. You can bounce a little bit in the knees. Okay, so the last of our preparatory exercises. Stand with the feet about shoulder width apart. One way to measure is to take your heel and put it into the instep of one leg. Pivot on the toe, slide it up forward so the feet are level with each other. Feet are parallel, like a number 11. So during the set, you want to check your feet periodically to make sure that they are parallel, or as parallel as you can comfortably make them. So now sinking a little bit into the knees, just a little, bend the knees slightly, bend slightly at the quad. That's this place at the inguinal crease here, as though you're about to sit down a little bit, just the start of that movement. So lift from the top of the head, tuck the chin, lengthen the neck up to the top of the head, and then sink the sacrum down so that the sacrum and the hips sink down in the back towards the heels. Let the arms hang comfortably down by the sides. Feel where your weight is on your feet. Is it towards the front of the foot or towards the back of the foot? You can rock back and forth to feel that. Try to find that place right in the middle. And without being stiff, just allow yourself to kind of reside in this position for a little while. Check yourself now and then, tuck your chin, lift the top of the head, sink the tailbone down towards the heels, relax the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, the hands. Bend the quad a little bit, bend the knees a little bit. Just notice your breathing. So this standing can become a practice of its own. It's a wonderful way to kind of experience a very nourishing stillness. It does over time provide a lot of benefits for the body, including increasing blood vessels in the legs. It's good for the bones. The organs can relax and more comfortably fill the spaces that they're in. Tension can kind of drop down through the body into the ground. Okay, so Uh, let's review all the postures that we've done so far. So we have done 9 postures. Last week I didn't repeat one. Usually after we practice a group of postures, even if we don't finish the whole set, we'll do the last posture. So that was the lift hands and sink palms. So we'll do that at the end. So we'll do these 9 postures. So the first posture is commencing form. The hands come up, elbows down, wrists down. So inhaling, exhale. And inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Second posture, broadening the chest. Inhale as the hands come up, out to the sides. Exhale, back down. So you can bring the hands up to maybe just above the shoulders. And notice that I'm sort of standing up as I inhale, and as I exhale, I go into a cross squat. I'll turn to the side so you can see that. Inhale. So this happens with a lot of the postures. We're going to be using this cross squat. I'm just doing a small cross squat today. Inhale, inhale, and exhale. And notice that the arms don't come back to my side center line. I'm not going quite this far. Keep the hands a little bit in front. Next one is playing with rainbows. Hands come up over the head, open to the side, open to the other side. So inhale to one side, exhale to the other. It doesn't matter which. Circling hands, cross squat down, hands cross, come up the middle, out to the sides. So inhale as we come up, and exhale down. Okay, we come up and repulse monkey. So one hand drops back as the other hand stays in front. So inhale as the hand comes back up and over the shoulder. Exhale as you go out. Inhale, exhale. So notice I'm doing the axis turn here that we did in our preparatory movements. Both hands drop down, come up, rowing a boat. So notice again, we're using a cross squat. Inhale as the hands come up. Exhale as the hands come down. Inhale as we stand up. Exhale as we squat a little bit. Adjust the squatting depth for yourself so that it's not a strain. Arms are parallel on the way down. Palms down as you go down. And then the new postures that we did last week. So stand up, shifting the weight, turning. So this is a little bit of this turning movement that we did in our warm-up. So the hand comes across the body, across our center line, and palm up. We're lifting a ball. We drop the ball, it bounces. We take it with the other hand. So the unweighted heel comes off the ground on this side. And lift the arm out away from the body enough so that you can feel maybe a light stretch from the scapula and around the shoulder, even into the armpit. Just a light stretch. So inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down. And the next posture is called carry the moon. Reach up, take hold of the moon. Bring the hands down past the thighs, up on the other side. So inhale up, exhale down. So notice it's a qua squat that I'm doing to bring the hands down. I stand up to help the arms go up. So last week, that was the last new posture that we did. So whenever we have a group of postures that we're doing, we will finish with the final posture of the Taiji Qigong set, which is lifting the hands as we inhale and press the hands down. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So this is posture 18. So we're jumping ahead to the end of the set. think I introduced this in class 2, but didn't review it last week, class 3. So at the end of the set, we would again do our little standing that we did at the beginning. Let everything settle down. Okay. So now we'll add 2 more postures to our set. Let me just take a little rest for a second, drink some tea if you got it. Okay, I'm going to be doing 2 new postures today. So the first new posture builds on this axis turn that we did in our warm-up exercises. So we might go back to that. Feet are parallel, maybe hip width, shoulder width apart. And imagine there's a pole going down through the top of the head. Remember the bicep point we talked about? From the tips of the ears to the top of the head, right along the center line where those 2 meet. You can imagine a pole going down through that, right down through the body, down through the bottom of the torso, straight down into the ground. So without shifting the weight, really, we're going to turn around that. So the whole torso turns as one piece. Nose and navel in one line. So do that several times to get used to that again. So after the last posture, so carry the moon, we would come down on one side, just like we had been. I'll go up on the other side so you can see. So this is kind of the movement we've been doing. So now we're just going to blend right into this movement where the palm presses out to the diagonal and we turn on this axis. The other hand is palm up at the waist. We turn to the front and then turn to the other side. So however far we're turning, and we don't want to turn so far that we're distorting our body, that we're twisting. We just want to turn enough within our range. So the time it takes us to turn the full amount and the time it takes the hand to go all the way out should be the same. So when the hand is all the way out, so the arm will be a little bent, the wrist not too tightly pulled back, but you'd be putting your attention in the center of the palm here. Hand comes back, turn to the other side. So inhale as the hands come back, exhale out to the side. Inhale, exhale. So you may not be turning that far. Most of us, if we turn too far, we're going to start distorting the body in ways that I mentioned. So the body stays upright. We're not leaning out into the hands. So we want to keep the body upright. You might even feel like you're sinking a little bit when that hand goes out. Feel sinking down inside your body. You don't actually have to go lower, but you want to feel as though you're actually nice and grounded and rooted. You dropped your weight down through your body into the floor by the time you get here. So you're coordinating the movement of the hands with the turning and the breath. So you're not making like a hard movement, like a martial arts strike. So it's kind of in slow motion. The hand floats out. And then gently releases and comes back. And while you're doing this, you're feeling that axis. You're feeling as though you're turning around a center that extends from the top of the head down through the bottom of the torso into the floor. Okay, so the next movement also builds on skills we were developing in our warm-up movements. So you can step out a little bit. So we'll talk about the movement and then we'll see how that fits with the twist and push posture we just learned. So feet are still parallel. Feet are maybe a little wider than shoulder width apart, maybe shoulder width and a half, if that's comfortable. If not, bring your feet into where you can comfortably do this. So when you've shifted your weight, you want to have your hip bone here in the front, the hip bone, the center of the kneecap, and the center of the foot in a line. You don't want to be twisting. See here, my knee is twisting outside my foot. I don't know if you can see that or not. Don't want to do that. So when we shift to the other side, when the foot is weighted, you want to have the hip, bone, knee, and foot in a line. And this leg, you want to feel this part of the body, maybe you'll feel a light stretch there, but you want the whole leg to relax as much as possible. Just be comfortable. The whole foot on the unweighted leg, the whole foot stays flat on the floor. Okay, so we're also going to add this axis turn that we just did in the last movement, and we also did in our warm-ups. So you want to time the turning so that you arrive at your full turn. And again, you're not straining to turn further. It's probably better to turn a little less than to try to turn more. So you might only be turning 15 degrees or something like that. But when you've arrived, when your turning is complete, you want to have your weight already mostly over here on this side, the weighted leg. So you've turned as much as you can and you've shifted your weight as much as you can. And keeping the nose, the navel in one line. Torso moves as one piece. Pretty much all the movement is happening from the legs and the hips. So the upper body is just going along for the ride. So it's important to get this lower body part of this, because when you add the arms, which we'll be doing shortly, you may lose track of that. So you may want to spend a little extra time during the week practicing this weight shift and turn. Maybe even just a weight shift, you can do that. Keep that separate and then add the turn when you're ready. Okay, so we're going to start with the hand. So when we've turned to the side, this hand is going to bring this hand up as though you're holding a large ball, like a large beach ball. So you're going to carry that over to the side. Then you're going to change the hand. So this is kind of an approximation of the movement that we're going to be aiming for. So notice the hand that's on top, we're shifting towards the elbow of the hand that's on top. So that's one way to help you remember this. Change the hands, carry the ball to the other side, change the hands. So be careful not to lose what we established before with the turning and the shifting. So maybe just try one hand. So hand on top, hand below. So this is another way to kind of start learning this movement. Hand below, hand above, hand below. Hand below, hand above, hand below, hand above. Two hands. If you have trouble with two hands, go back to the one hand. And until you can get that comfortable, then you can add the other hand. So basically the hand is kind of moving like this, but because I'm shifting and turning, it looks like I'm doing this with the hand. But actually, my wrist joint here is not really, is always kind of on my chest, kind of out from my chest, a little bit outside when I come back this way. So another way to remember it is to carry the ball, change hands, carry the ball to the other side, change hands. And then when you smooth that out, it begins to look a little bit more like what we're trying to get with this movement. This movement's called cloud hands. So I don't know if this is what they had intended, but a little bit, you have a little bit the water cycle here, where the sunlight shines on the water that creates steam that rises, forms clouds which move across the sky, then rain falls down, come across the water, rises up, clouds. So maybe that's why they call this cloud hands, I don't know. There's actually a lot of movements that are called cloud hands. It's kind of a popular name. And they may or may not have anything to do with each other. But it's very similar to the cloud hands that's in the Taiji form, the Yang family Taiji form. There's a number of different family styles of Taiji. So there's two new postures. So I'm just going to back up a little bit and do the postures before that. So we have the lifting a ball. So inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down. Carry the moon. And transition into twist and push. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. and transition into cloud hand. So I stepped a little wider. Inhale, exhale. Don't worry if you feel a little confused with this cloud hands movement. It is trickier than it looks, maybe. So just go through the basic steps and build it up. So that's a good strategy for learning sometimes, is to work with the lower body first, figure out what the lower body's doing. Then maybe add one hand of the upper body, figure out how that relates to what the lower body's doing, and then maybe shift to the other side, to the other hand. And then you can start working with both. Okay. I'll just talk a couple of minutes about breathing that we introduced last time. That's a thread that I would hope to develop through this class. The breathing can be a separate practice, but it also will eventually join with what we're doing. So last time we talked about sitting, getting yourself into a comfortable position. Basically, you just want to have the spine lengthened, comfortable, so that you can relax in this posture. Chest is a little dropped, but you're lifting up a little bit through the spine, similar to how we're doing with standing. So we become aware of ourselves breathing. So noticing the breath, maybe just at the openings of the nostrils, just feel the breath coming in, going out. And then very gradually start going a little deeper into the nose, so that you're feeling the breath going in about a third of the way into the nose and then going out. Obviously, the breath is going in deeper into the lungs now, but you're just allowing the breath to guide your awareness. So just guiding it in and out of the nose, gradually going a little bit deeper into the nose and out, deeper in and out. Back to where the nose joins the throat, and then deeper into the throat, and exhale. Allow the breath to guide you back into the throat, to the top of the lungs, and then out. So gradually working in that way. You can spend 10 minutes a day doing that, maybe a nice quiet time. You'll find maybe, hopefully, that you'll find that this makes you very relaxed. There's no straining involved. There's no holding the breath. There's no trying to force the breath. You're just noticing what's already happening all the time. You're just paying some attention to the movement of the breath with your awareness. So if you can work down into the lungs, try to do that. Last time we just kind of went down into the throat. So on your own, if you have time, try to work down into the lungs. And we'll pick this up again. So that'll be all for now. Remember, if you do have questions, you can write them to the library. I think on the library's page, they have a contact the librarian little section or something, so you can type in a question and they'll be forwarded to me. Also, the first 3 videos have been uploaded. There's been timestamps added, so if there's a particular part of the video, you can look at the labels, click the timestamp, and it'll bring you to that point in the video. So hopefully that'll be helpful. And as soon as this one is uploaded, hopefully we'll be able to do that soon. As soon as it's up, I can create timestamps and then those will be added. All right, so thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying the class and look forward to seeing you next time. Well, I don't really see you. I wish I could, but maybe in the future we'll be able to work something out. But yeah, I hope you can come back next week and we'll continue this. Thank you. Bye.